Welcome to the joy of coding. Hello, and welcome to episode 350 of the Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. I'm so excited. We're going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. We're going to be doing some really interesting stuff. But I want to acknowledge we've made it to approximately 350 episodes. Woo! I wish I had the sound effect for like cheering. Fortunately, I haven't fully recovered my sound effects library from my laptop hard drive failure. Slowly but surely I will gain those back. But pretend I just did like and like woohoo and oh yeah, like those old sounds. We did it, and you know, I say like 350 because there are some lost episodes and like missing episodes and episode numbers that got skipped. I presume it all kind of balances out. So let's say it's around 350. And, you know, if you've been sticking it out with me this whole time, thank you. If you joined me along the way, thank you. And if this is your first time watching, thank you. Thanks for being here. And let's get started. What are we doing today? Well, where's my screen? Well, let's start with that. Let's start with fixing the stream. One moment. Oh no. So here's the first problem, is that I am in a void. And I think I know why. So this is my new laptop. I was using a loaner before. This is a new laptop. And this laptop, I don't think I've given OBS the ability to share the screen, to record the screen yet. And those did not get ported over. All right, just give me a quick second here. This may require me to disconnect and reconnect. Apologies. Screen. This is, I mean, so I like to start this by saying, I always like to start the Joy of Coding by saying, you know, no plan survives breakfast. And no, and like especially now. Where do I want? I want display capture. Where are you? Why won't you do it? This is going to be really interesting if I can't capture the screen. Oh boy. All right, hold on. Let me work this out. You can watch me work this out in real time. I'm going to talk through it as I'm doing it. That's kind of part of the joy of coding. I wasn't expecting this to be what we work on. Oh wow, this is. What a way to start the episode. Probably shouldn't have just assumed that all the permissions were set. Okay, permissions. Accessibility display here. How do I screen display capture permissions? So in Mac OS, screen capture permissions control. System settings, privacy and security. That's what I want. Privacy and security. Let me talk a little bit about what I'm hoping to do today while I try and focus on doing this. OBS enable. Okay, hold on. Tell me I don't have to restart. Oh, I gotta quit and reopen OBS. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna quit and reopen OBS. We're gonna start this all over again. I apologize, but trust me, it'll be a lot more interesting if I do it this way. Stand by. So I'm going to start recording again, and we're gonna work our way through this. And it looks like all of the camera settings kind of got reset while I was at it. Oh, patience, everybody, patience. We're gonna get this. We're gonna figure it out. Let me see if I can fix some of this. There we go. And then we'll fix the green screen a little bit, and then we'll actually get started. I want this to be a good episode for y'all. Where's how can I, come on, camera. This'll be worth it, gang, trust me. We're gonna, there we go. Okay, all right, what are we doing today? Let me start by sharing the agenda. It's episode 350, what a start. If there's anything to take away from this, it's that no plan survives breakfast, and no more so than today. I mean, I think the universe is speaking to me here and saying, you know, don't forget that no plan survives breakfast. Test your stuff. Things might go wrong during the course of the stream. Did I tell you that? And that's okay. You know, we're gonna do our best. I ended up having to stop the recording and then restart the recording, and I'm going to sew it together with FFmpeg after this is all over. But it's all going to be good. Let's get right to it. I already did the preamble where I said 350 episodes. What I wanted to look at today... Oh, and it looks like my hat's partially see-through. That's fun. I wanted to look at decoding Safari's profile mechanism. This is a little bit of a departure from what we normally do during A Joy of Coding, where we're normally working directly on the Firefox code. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of research. We tried to do this last week, but I forgot that I didn't have macOS Sonoma installed. And now I have macOS Sonoma. I'm running 14.1. That's the version. 14.1 macOS. I believe that's Sonoma, and I'm pretty sure that includes the version of Safari that has user profiles. And I want to research how that works because you may or may not know this. Here, let me zoom my screen so you can see what I'm writing. You may or may not know this, but Firefox has the ability to import from other browsers. Wow, I'm all better? Worse? Now my head's just shiny. Good Lord. It has the ability to import from other browsers, like Safari. What it doesn't have is the ability to choose a particular profile from Safari. And that's because, profiles are fairly new in Safari. And so, I thought we could see if we could figure out how Safari is doing its profiling stuff. And then we could try and put together a plan for how we could import from those profiles. Okay. So let's do it. Let's see how Safari works. I'm going to start by actually popping up Safari. I'm not sure if I've opened it on this computer yet. This might be the first time I'm seeing it. So it does talk about profiles. So good news, everyone. Good news, everyone. We're in the right version of Safari. And if I recall from the documentation I read, the way you access profiles is from the main menu here. So you can create a profile, and here there's like this mechanism inside of settings. Profiles allows you to keep your personal browsing separate from your work or school browsing. Now, if you're familiar with Chrome or Firefox profiles, I want to set your expectations, because I've read up a little bit on how Safari profiles work. This is not that. This is not the same thing as Chrome or Firefox user profiles. This is something fairly new. It's closer, I'd say, to it's somewhere in between user profiles and Firefox's containers. It's somewhere in the middle. So imagine if Firefox's multi-container add-on or multi-container feature, the container feature, allowed you to also separate your bookmarks as well as your history with that particular container. I think that'd be the closest thing to what Safari has. So let's take a look. I'm not going to read that. Let's just start using the profiles. I'm going to name this one user1, and I'm going to give it the symbol of hammer, and I'm going to give it the color salmon, and we're going to create a new bookmarks folder. That's the default, so we'll do that. It looks like there's a default profile that can never be removed. We'll name this one personal. Well, I guess that's the one it's already got. User1. Let's add another one. I'm going to add user2. And I'm going to make it the briefcase. And we're going to give it the color cyan. And that one's going to use an existing folder. So it looks like, for favorites, you can actually have different profiles share a particular favorites folder. That's interesting. I'm going to have this one use the default favorites folder. Ooh, and it changes like the background. That's fun. And then for user 3, this hat, and I'm going to give it this background, and that's going to create a new bookmarks folder. Okay. Now, how do I switch between these? It looks like there's a profile switcher here, and so I can switch to user 1. I can switch to user 2. I guess I can create new windows, switch to profile, switch to personal window. So it'll create a new window, I guess. Is that true? Switch to user 1 window? No, it converts the window. Now if I if I create, oh, there's some readability issues there, Apple. I don't know if you saw that, but like the colors hadn't fully transitioned yet. So here's user 1, and if I'm here now, the behavior of this has changed because there's a tab in here. I can create a new window for user 2. Okay, new window for user 3, and these users, sample.com, user 3 is going to create a bookmark. Let's create a bookmark. How do you do that in Safari? Share, new tab, show tab overview. How do I create a bookmark in Safari? That is, oh, here we go, bookmarks. Yeah, but how do I bookmark this web page? Oh, that's interesting. You can also get a list of everyone's bookmarks. So everyone has access to everyone else's bookmarks. That's interesting. I guess I'll use the menu. Okay, bookmark, add bookmark. And this is example domain. So user 3 is getting a bookmark for example.com. User 2 is going to go to Facebook. And we're going to create a bookmark for user 2. Yeah, does it also, Smurfd says it seems to save the position of the profile window. Is that true? Like if I close this and go create a new user 1 window, create a new user. I don't know if that's true. Like if here's user 1, I'm going to shrink the window down. I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to close this window. Now I create a new user 1 window. Oh, it did. It did remember. Okay. If I move it here, new window, user 1. Okay, good stuff. Oh, and I can customize that. That's fun. There's a privacy report. That's fun. Okay, good job, Safari. So we've got these different user profiles. We've got different bookmarks created. User 1. Oh, I can't see user 3's bookmarks. Do I have to be user 3 to see? I definitely created a bookmark. What? I definitely created a bookmark. Let's go to Facebook. No. Where did I create a bookmark for user 3? User 2 has a bookmark here, right? So it put them all in just the favorites folder. I see. So if I bookmark, add bookmark, oh, it's defaulting to adding it to the default favorites, but I can add it to, in this case, well, user 2 defaults to the favorites folder, so that makes sense. But that's really interesting that user 3, whatever I had gone to for user 3, I think it was the example domain. When I tried to create the bookmark, it put it in it's like defaulting to go to favorites rather than my user 3 folder. Okay, so I'll put it in the user 3. Let's go somewhere else. Wikipedia. User 3 is going to go to Wikipedia. We're going to add a bookmark for user 3. At least it remembers. That's good. And what else? User 1. What's user 1 going to do? User 1 is going to go to Mozilla.org. And we're going to add a bookmark for user 1 there. User 1 is also going to go to npr.org. And we're going to add... Okay, so if we look at our bookmarks here, user 3 has example.com and Wikipedia. User 1 has mozilla.org. I don't know why they didn't get the favicon on there. They've got NPR for favorites. We've got a bunch of stuff, a bunch of missing favicons too. And we've got Facebook and CBC and Wikipedia also in there. Okay, so these are our starting conditions. And what I want to know is like, what's the organization? So let's take a look at how we've up until now been accessing things like bookmarks. Let's just talk bookmarks. So inside the Safari Profile Migrator module, there's going to be a thing called the bookmarks resource, or bookmarks. Oh, here it is. Push profile file resource. So there's a plist file in the Safari folder called bookmarks.plist. Now, before we continue, I want to show you what it's like whenever I import from Safari right now. So right now, I don't have any, like I've got a couple of bookmarks. I've got like a lot of the default bookmarks, and I've also got one from The Guardian and Rolling Stone. Now I'm going to import from Safari. I'm going to just import bookmarks for now. And I have to provide permission to read the Safari folder, and then it will pull in the bookmarks. And so it looks like we do pull in the individual user folders of bookmarks. That's interesting. And I'm wondering if that's the right call. If that's what Safari users are used to. This is something I might have to run by our UX people, but I suspect that if we might want to supply a couple of different options for importing from Safari. Like when we show Safari, we might want to show like Safari and then individual profiles as well in this same list, like Safari user 1, Safari user 2, so that you can choose to either import all profiles at the same time or from a particular one. I'll have to talk to, so let's start up a document so we can write some of this down. Let me just do this in Joplin actually. New note. I'll put it in live coding for now. And Safari profile exploration. So what do we know so far? We know that you need to be running Sonoma. Safari on Sonoma. This is something that users opt into. There is a default personal profile, but users can create an arbitrary, I'm going to presume an arbitrary number of alternate profiles. These profiles are more like containers, Firefox's containers, than Firefox or Chrome profiles, in that they share things like the running process, same running process. Like I'm pretty sure if we were to open up Safari again, and we've got like user 1, and we switch to user 2. I don't think we're gonna have 2 top-level Safari processes. Let's open up the activity monitor and take a look. Safari. Yeah, we just have 1 top-level Safari running. This is interesting though, just to seeing Safari's internals. Open and save panel service, the safe browsing service. There's a Safari history service, a launch agent. They've got their own web content processes. We've got some pre-warmed ones. Good stuff. Good job. But they're running, I think, the same parent process. Like if I were to kill this, it's going to probably take down both. Yeah, it took down both. So they share the same running top-level process. They have access to each other's bookmarks. A profile can have its own bookmark folder. So, okay. So the next thing I want to look at is how history works. So yeah, what did it say inside of the profile? Profiles allow you to keep your browsing separate. You may want to set up a profile for work or school. Your history, cookies, and website data will be separated per profile. So let's pick one. Let's pick user 1. We're going to go to NPR, and we're just going to start reading a bunch of NPR articles. There's one here about, now we're at The Verge, and now we're at another Verge, and now we're at The Verge, and now we're at another. Okay, we're going to close that. So we've done some history. We're also going to click on this NPR article and this one, this link. Okay, so now we've got some history. Let's see if we can find, if I'm in like user 2 and I type in Home Alone, because that's part of the title here. So it knows about it from like Siri, but like I think that's different from if I were to go here and type in Home Alone. There's a switch to tab here, and if I were to close this, Home Alone, there's some bookmarks in history where this is in the history for this particular user, and that's missing here. Home Alone. Yeah, it's not here. So history is separated. Presumably, if Firefox were to import data from Safari, let's just import history. I think we're going to get all of it, history, today. What? I just imported the stuff from Safari. What? Where is Home Alone? Home Alone. It's not in here. History. Home Alone. I wonder if we're not pulling in history correctly from individual profiles. We pulled in the different user, like bookmarks. We pulled in the different bookmarks, the different folders, but we didn't pull in the individual history. That's interesting. Okay. What else? Did it say? Okay, so let's write that down actually. History appears to be stored separately per stored or partitioned. History appears to be partitioned between profiles so that querying from the URL bar, the address bar in user 1 will not show history results from user 2. Now, user 3 has Wikipedia. User 1 has NPR and example.com for user 3. If I type in example.com, Facebook, I want to see if let's create a unique bookmark for user 3. We're going to go to Wikipedia. I'm going to type in the words, hamster. So hamster, and I'm going to bookmark for user 3. Oh, and that's interesting. It's like the bookmark dialog is going to remember the last folder, even if it's a different user's folder. That's like across every different Safari window. That's kind of awkward, personally. But okay, so we've got hamster in user 3. So if user 2 types in the word hamster, we do see it from bookmarks in history. So, but bookmarks queries can occur across profiles. Can you save to one? Yeah, probably. Like if I, let's go to another, so I'm in user 2, let's go to another unique, let's go to homestarrunner.com, and we're going to add a bookmark to user 1. Done. So now if I open up a window for user 1, yeah, it's got a favorite for user 1. So each profile has write access for bookmarks, read and write access, and write access for bookmarks across profiles. I don't think there's really a way to beef that up anymore. Like Windows open, we can configure them individually. It looks like extensions are separate per profile as well. I think that's less relevant because we don't import extensions from Safari just yet. That's something to know for the future. There are different configurations here on which some defaults. It's weird. Like, what's the point of having favorites be set to this. Maybe it has to do with what shows up inside of like the bookmarks toolbar. Add bookmark folder, show bookmarks. Like I don't understand what the point is of having an assigned favorites folder in the, because like it, at least from what I can tell, that bookmarking dialog just chooses the last folder. Like they just seem kind of like folders. Maybe there's more to it. I might be missing something. Is there like a bookmarking feature that I'm not using inside of Safari that other people are aware of? Sorry, this is kind of hypnotic. It's also interesting how that jumps. You notice how like the back forward buttons jump back and then slide forward? It's because this is collapsing in and then that slides forward. I think a lot of attention was paid to trying to make this button stay in the same spot as this slid that way. I don't think they accounted for the user profile switcher. I think that looks like a UI compromise right there. Sorry, I shouldn't be critiquing. I need to be digging into the organization of this stuff. Okay, let us start looking at databases. So Safari, let me quit Safari, and then we're going to open up a tool called DB Browser for SQLite, because Safari stores okay. Safari stores history inside of an SQLite database in something called history.db. Unable to open? What? Why would that be? If it's still open, maybe? Maybe I'll open it for read-only access. Is there something still... There's a history service here. What if I, like, kill the service? Okay. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. But let's see now what happens. Nope, still can't do it. Does this Firefox still have access to that folder? Is that what's happening? No. All right. Well, let's look closer. Library, Safari. So inside of history, I would expect, yeah, SQLite format 3 is at the header there. Open history.db. What's the syntax? It's SQLite 3 open database file. Let's command line. I want to like attach to one. Maybe here, quit. SQLite 3 history.db. Select. Can I like list all tables in SQLite database? Select name from SQLite master. Okay, let's try that. So I can connect to it from here. How do I? Okay, double Control C. But I can't seem to do it from here. Maybe, do I need to give this thing like elevated privileges? Here's what I'm gonna do. I do know that the Safari profile folder is a little special. Like, Safari does a lot of work to try and make it really difficult for people to access the contents of this folder, other applications, which is why we had to kind of like jump through some hoops to get at. So let me just paste it here in my home folder and see if I can attach to it from my home folder. There. Okay, so how do they organize things? How do they organize like the different users and the different profiles? So if I remember correctly, history is broken down into, like, this is more or less the same structure that we've used in the past for like this is a familiar structure. Like, this is stuff we've always been importing from. If you take a look at how we do history resource, is that we query, select history items, left join history visits on history items ID equals history visits history item. So we like join a particular visit to a history item. So a history item, if I recall correctly, if we browse the data, is a particular site, and then history visits will be like individual visits to those particular sites. Now, I'm not seeing any like profile IDs associated here. How about history items? Profile ID, is there a profile ID? I don't see a profile ID here. History client version, history event listener, history events, items to tags. There's no tags. Tombstones, visits, metadata, sequence. So that's very curious. How do they know? How do they separate a particular visit? How do they separate, like, how do they organize it so that different profiles have different history? Well, let's do some silly stuff. We know that if we open up Safari again, history for user 1 is today, December, well, user 1 history. Have we really only had, let's choose user 3. History for user 3, hamster. So is it in the database? Is information on hamsters in the database? No, I don't see Wikipedia in here. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to the Safari profile folder here, the data folder. That's where they store IndexedDB stuff. Where is this stuff? Where's, okay, so let's go into the, we're in the Safari folder. I'm just going to do something really sort of naive. I'm going to grep the word hamster in all caps, We have it in the favicon cache. We have it in the bookmark list, but we don't have it in history. So if I delete hamster from our bookmarks, it's in the recently closed tabs. Is that all these are? Recently closed. Can I, if I like overflow the recently closed tabs, let's close some tabs. We're gonna create a bunch of tabs and close them. Get out of here. Get out of here, add. Okay. So we've pushed hamster off of recently closed. Well, it's still in there. But I suspect that that's not where this is from. History. Show user 3 history. Last visited today. So if I look for like weather.com, it's not in here. That's really interesting. Okay. Is there a way to find out on macOS which files are opened by a process? Yeah, open files and ports. I can do that from here, just naively. What do? Select the process, click on the I for information. Okay. Is there anything in this list? It says like user 1, history. Interesting. No. We might come back to this list later. Ooh, library containers. What's that? Library containers. And how come I don't see it? Where is this? Mike Conley, library. Maybe there's information outside of COM, Apple, Safari. It's in here. Where am I? What is this? Oh, profiles. Okay. This looks more interesting. I think we may have stumbled on it. I don't know where we are. Where are we? I'm reminded a little bit of like the Snap stuff. This smells like a virtualization of some kind, but it might be because like we go library Safari underneath a library containers Safari, data library Safari. Backend Dev writes, it's good to catch another of your streams. I'm quite new to Matrix. Anything I should be aware of? On Matrix? If you remember IRC or you're familiar with IRC, you know, it's kind of like that. There are threads, but it's very similar. We're bridging this to the Twitch chat, which if you see like square brackets IRC, that's people talking from the Twitch chat. Yeah, what's going on here? Okay, so let's research this a little bit. Safari containers, library containers. So when was this written? This was from 2020. Don't delete, clear Safari cache. Nope, that's not what I want. Enabling debugging. The Safari's preferences file has moved from there to there, which is inside Safari's container. Safari is sandboxed. If you do code sign display entitlements, you'll see the indicator of a sandboxed app. However, a sandboxed app has only limited access to the file system. I see. They've been containerizing Safari. Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was like, this smells or feels like Snap, like Ubuntu Snap. I think this is what I was getting at. Like, it looks like the Safari people have been quietly containerizing Safari. Each sandboxed app has its own special container. In the case of Safari, that's here. Thus, the Safari preferences file location had to move. System integrity protection cannot be accessed without special permissions, even by non-sandboxed app. Turns out Safari's container is one of those protected folders. Finder has special permission to access the whole file system, but Terminal does not have special permissions, so you have to like allow full disk access, which you generally don't want to do. Okay, so that's very interesting. Look at that. I think I see what Safari and like the Apple team are trying to do here. Like they're trying to containerize things a little bit. So where am I? We are under, let's write this. It looks like we may have found, I shouldn't assume, we may have found where the individual history items are stored. That appears to be library. Oh, sorry, not, where am I? Like library containers, Safari. Well, not quite. It's library containers, Apple Safari. Data library Safari profiles. Under here, there are UUIDs things that probably represent the individual profiles. So that's my guess, is that like these represent the individual profiles. Is unique. These are in the form of a UUID. So that's how I'm going to guess that these are. Interestingly, I suspect that the default profile keeps, and I'm guessing this is maybe for backwards compatibility reasons, they keep the data inside of the library Safari folder. And it wouldn't surprise me if over time we'll end up seeing more and more of Safari's state being saved in this place. Yeah. Or is it 2 folders to each profile? It's a good question. Let's see what's inside some of these. Let's pick one at random. We can take a look at the age that these were created at to give us a guess of which is which. This one was created at 121, 133, 149, 120, 144, and 144. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And is there some kind of like, presumably there's a mapping of like UUID to like the name. Maybe that's something we could figure out. Let's see if we can do some grepping, more grepping. So we're gonna go here. Oh, I don't have permission. Right, we were just reading about this. I don't have permission to do this. I suspect if I turn on give terminal read access to all files and folders. How do I add an application? What was this documentation saying? You have to open special security, privacy, select full disk access, unlock your administrator, add terminal. I don't know how to add something to this list. Files and folders. Okay. Well, at the very least, what we could do is we can try and copy this entire bulk. We're gonna copy it into a temporary spot. So let's get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. We are detached. We're gonna get rid of that. Let's create a new folder under projects. We're gonna call it Safari container folder copy. Okay. And I'm just gonna, okay. Oh, I didn't mean to move it. Back it goes. We're gonna copy it. I think if I like shift, you just do a copy by maybe it's command clicking? No. I'll just command C, command V. There you go. Copied. Now I'll bet you I can open these. Okay. This looks right. So yeah, this is containing just the history for one place, one container. Let's look at a different one. Example, Wikipedia, here's weather and hamster. Okay, we found it. So somewhere, this UUID, B7A, this UUID is mapped to user 3, the string user 3. Safari tabs. There's something called Safari tabs that knows about this UUID. Bookmark title words. Windows profiles. What is this? Participant presence. Oh. Bookmarks. Where did it find it? Search. Here it is. External UUID for user 3. So that's for the bookmark folder. I see. And what's the rule? These are like unique IDs for particular profiles. And then the server ID? I wonder what that means. Okay. Let's keep digging. Can I grep inside of library Safari for this string? Close tabs matches, recently closed tabs. I'm starting to get a sense of it. Safari data copy. Contained, what do you call this? Library data. And then there's prefs data. Where's this thing? What's in here? Oh, no, I want the UUID. User 3's UUID. Okay. I got a feeling this is not going to... Is the string user 1 in here? Or user... No. Where would they store? Where would they store the profile information? Like the names of the profiles. That's what I'm looking for next. What are you? Touch icon, autofill corrections, a cache DB, HTTPS, autoplay, per site preferences. I don't know what biome is. Let's ignore that for now. Safari tabs, fav icons, tab snapshots. User packet pool. Tips store. Saved application state, data.data. Com Apple data library, saved application state, saved state, data.data. I'm pretty sure that would have been contained within here, right? Saved application state? I guess not. Okay. Safari. Containers, data, library. That's where I'm at, right? Here's Safari data library. Containers, Safari data library. There's something called saved application state. Oh, sorry, it's right here. Saved state. All right, what's in here? Saved state. All right. Let's look for strings. No. What about the UUID? What I'm looking for, just so we're clear, is I'm looking for the thing that's going to allow me to map UUIDs to profile names. That's the thing I want. Maybe someone else has solved this. Safari's, what version of Safari is this? About Safari, version 17.1. Safari profile name stored. Okay, new profile. Where are the oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So this person said that inside of defaults read. So I presume there's like defaults is like the way of browsing. It's like prefs, I guess. Is there something like that in there? Yeah. And is there read com apple safari grep? What? Wait, what? Oh, sorry, read. Okay. Surprised. Okay. Defaults read com apple dot safari less. And what was the UUID? I keep forgetting it. I need to write it down. What's this? Profiles with a specified start background image. Okay. Privacy report start page number of trackers. Okay, so there's some information. Somewhere, so this UUID is the key. Each profile is assigned a UUID, presumably on creation, which allows the profile to be renamed and still you know, and keep its primary hidden identity. Like, this is its primary key, hidden from the user. Some preferences for these profiles can be found via defaults read com apple safari. But where are the names? Profile name stored in prefs. Let's go back to Activity Monitor again. Per site preferences, library preferences, logging. Per site preferences, per site preferences. I guess if this was Windows, I could use something called, I think it's called Procmon. I could change the name of the profile and then look at the system calls to write that state change to disk, and that would let me chase this down. Is there something like Procmon for Mac OS? Glances. Oh. Wait. Negative. It's a task manager and an alternative for process monitor. Not system calls. Okay, no good. Very fancy. It's basically top, but it doesn't show system calls. Mac OS log system calls. Ktrace, for example, sudo ktrace trace. What is this? What did I just do? fs lookup, find replace. I want to trace system calls. Trace kernel operations for process command and log data. Ktrace Safari. Oh! I could use maybe Xcode. Can I profile with Xcode and like... I mean, I haven't booted up Xcode on this thing yet. Here you'll access the kernel on the target map. I'll take a record of just about everything. It's heavy-handed. We'll probably record those signposts around its root and see it when your app finishes launching. Then take the file it produces back to your development machine. Open it with instruments. Okay, Ktrace, AR trace. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to change the name of this profile from user 3 to user something else, all caps. Okay, and then I'm going to quit and Control-C stop. To output file trace001.ktrace. Now, do I have instruments? Ugh, okay, install. Adding 31 seconds of OS log data. Okay. How are we doing here, folks? Do we have Xcode running? Can I get some Xcode here? Here we go. Instruments. Choose blank instruments. Open. Can I open up a Ktrace file? Where am I? And is it in here? Trace001.ktrace. Okay. Move trace001.ktrace to project Safari say data copy. Okay. Projects. Okay. Scanning symbol thread information. Great. Import with just blank for now. Okay, so we've got Ktrace, all processes, and no data to display. Okay, no good. Instruments will ask you to pick a template, and your template will more or less dictate which parts of the file you want to model in instruments. So in case we system trace template. Okay, so maybe that's what I want to do. Open. System trace template. Okay. I mean, the other thing we could do, we could try attaching to Safari with Xcode and trying to like debug it. A running, compiled, optimized, probably obfuscated build. That's something we could potentially do. But yeah, we need to figure out where the profiles are stored. Not just the profile. We know where the data, the history data that we care about is stored. We need to know where the index of profiles is. The fact that it's not in here is pretty aggravating. I would have hoped it was in here, but it's not. And presumably that's because it needs to be outside of the... Oh my goodness. Try again. It wasn't that long a trace, Xcode. Okay, while it's doing that, let's see if I can remember how with LLDB breakpoint on file write. Save breakpoints, but breakpoints on system call. Okay, that was back in 2014. Apparently they didn't do that. You can use dtrace, but dtrace might not work if you are talking about containered app. If this doesn't work, where would we look? Unbelievable. Thanks, instruments. The Gecko profiler doesn't know how to make sense of ktrace files, does it? It's a fairly amazing piece of software. Maybe they figured out how to do that. No. All right. Oh, it's 4.56 gigs. Oof. Maybe what I should do, actually. Can I filter by AR trace? Ktrace, AR trace, filter. Can I... AR trace. What is AR trace? Profile the system. I don't want to profile the system, necessarily. I want to profile a particular application. But I can filter, trace the class, some classes, specify the name of the file to be created, configure tracing, ring buffer mode. All right, let's do some sloppy stuff. So we've got only a few minutes, like maybe 10 or so minutes left. We've gotten some useful information here, but let's do some bananas stuff here. Did we not? I thought I'd changed the name of one of these, and it didn't take. Okay, very interesting. Good job, good job. What is the process number for Safari? It is... Where is it? Process ID. PID 37082. Sudo LLDB. Attach 37082. Failed. Not allowed. Of course, it's like a containerized application. All right, next plan. Let's take a look at the console. Now, I don't know what's going to be in here, so I'm actually going to put this off screen until I've got it configured to just filter on Safari. Safari. Okay. Manage profiles. We're going to change user 3 to search for me. Quit. Okay. Pause. So we've got a bunch of logs in here. Can I... Is this like any? No, I want contains equals. No, not any. I want these to be ands. Can I get rid of this one then? Okay. So what happened at the very end there? Let's work our way backwards. Safari quit. That all happened fairly quickly. Hit the server for process handle. If you're wondering what connection invalidated. What I'm looking for is Safari history invalidated after getting a no senders notification. Client is gone. Process calm Apple Safari history. What files do you have open? Cryptexes. So that's system stuff. This is all system stuff. This is... You'd expect any of this stuff to be under user... in the user folders. So I don't think that's the one. Get the list of Safari profiles from terminal. I don't think this is Safari profiles. No, I don't think so. Oh, how to use Safari profiles from Apple Insider. Clear all Safari data using a terminal. This might be interesting. I'm looking for new information though, so this will have to be stuff within like the past year. Where could it be? Maybe, okay, let's go back to instruments for a second. So I can't attach I can't use LLDB. Can I record a system trace from here? Let's find out. Okay, I'm gonna do this off screen just in case there's stuff that you shouldn't see that gets recorded. Recording. Okay, and then manage profiles. User 1, user 3. Okay, stop. To filter. How do I filter? On all processes, I want to look at a particular process. I want to look at the running process, Safari. Oh my goodness. Come on. Where are you? There you are, Safari. Oh, now it wants me to record. Okay, hold on. Let me try that again. Recording. Search for me. So we just recorded Safari. I'm going to bring this over once I verify that we have some interesting things. Okay. Safari. All right, so now we have a sense of some stuff that happened. I'm guessing the write occurred, like, it's going to be in here, I suspect. We don't care about thermal state. I care about... I care about system calls. Mock message trap. I think that's how they spin the event loop. So let's not worry about that. Time of day. P read. Where's write? Open. What did you open? Create file from path. What did you do? What file did you open? I don't think that's it. Okay, let's go back. Open. P write. Right, public plist data. It wrote to a plist. What plist did you write to? A? Adler 32. Plist. If that's the one, what plist did it write to? Safari. Worker threads. Which thread was this on? Start. Here. Stuff from OBS. Oh, it's being preempted by OBS. That's interesting. I want to search. Can I just search this entire... I want to search all of it. Search for me. I want to see what files you had open and what you wrote to. Wait, these are different applications. I just want Safari. Safari. Main thread, worker thread. Instruments, Mac OS, profile, disk access, file access. Access write operations. Report, disk writes. When did it write? And where did it write to? Does it say where you wrote to? Open documentation, binary, device detail, aggregate logs, disk writes. I want to see disk usage. File activity template. That's what I want. Tracks logical physics. Of course, logical file system used in the form of system calls to read write data. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so let's try this one more time, and I think I'm going to call it. So I'm going to put that user search 3. We're going to do this again. We're going to do a different recording. This is file activity. Great. We're going to record Safari. We can close this one. Don't need it. Recording. Search for me. Stop. We are definitely deep. Disk I/O latency. Here we go. What was that? And what is this? What is that? Max read, max write, disk I/O latency, file system activity. Stat, truncate, write, unlink, write. File descriptor 64. What is that? What are you, files descriptor 64? Oh my goodness, what are you? Instruments, map, file descriptors to file names. What did I just do? Add to detail filter. File system events, statistics. I don't want statistics. I want events. Here, we did a stat where? Oh, look, window. Oh, no, I lost it. Oh. File system activity. File system events. Okay, this is better. No such file or directory. Stat. Form p-write on 65. What is file 5065? Unknown path. Why are you being so cagey, Safari? Windows 2 data, Windows 6 data. What are those? library containers, com, data library, saved application state. Here's Safari data library, saved application state, Safari, save state, window _2 data, no such file. Right, of course. And then deleted the file when we shut down. Okay. File system. File descriptor history. No data. File. No. File descriptor history. Disk I/O. Events. Call tree. At some point, we did a web bookmark WSQL save on web bookmarks. Is it that'd be strange, right? Like if they were to save this stuff in the web. Perform transparency. Save item, tab collection. If that was the main index, that'd be strange. That'd be pretty strange. I mean, maybe. Back in the store, correct. That's just reading a string, I think. I mean, maybe. What if they're putting it in? That's an unlink. That's a write. Write public plist data. Yeah. What plist? Okay, so here's my suspicion. I suspect that there's a plist file somewhere that now contains the term search for me. That's somewhere in the file system. I will now do a large dramatic search for that string. Here's how I will do that. And then I will end the stream. This may not work. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it search for me. And we're going to copy in everything. Actually, no. Everything that was modified today. From there. And how about from like the actual library Safari? What was modified? 241. Sure, copy that in. And I mean, it's possible that this stuff, 221, sure, why not? Okay. We're now going to look for the term search for me. That's interesting. That's also interesting. That might be our plist. So in saved application state, com Apple Safari saved state, windows.plist, search for me, new search for me window. That does not look like, this looks like a cache. Yeah. Yeah, this looks like a cache of strings. Okay. What were the other hits? Safari tabs. Nope. Open database. It's somewhere in here, it said. Search for me. That's interesting. Profile color. Server ID. Device identifier. That's the device identifier. Server ID. Participant presence. Generations. Folder ancestors. Bookmarks. Mark title words. How do I search within this database for literally everything? Or was that filter on the whole time? No, not possible. Find in table. Search for me. No hits. No hits. No. There. Title.
Ah, it's the bookmarks folder.
Okay, is it possible that the bookmarks folder is the index? Is that possible? Like, if I... Let's do an experiment. All right, here's a hypothesis. Hypothesis. So here's the mystery we're trying to solve. Where is the mapping of profile names to UUIDs? Hypothesis. The mapping is in the bookmarks, Safari tabs, or would it be like, yeah. Parent. Type. Parent. Special ID. No, this doesn't feel right. Subtype. Subtype 2. Okay, maybe. Subtype 2. What happens if I delete this? Or let me change this value. We're going to change search for me to search for me changed. And then we're going to move Safari tabs. What was the name of it? Safari tabs. Not here, not here. I'm gonna overwrite. Now there's these two files here, the write ahead, and then .db. Let's see if SQLite can make sense of what I just did. So I'm going to copy these over. Replace. Replace. Okay. I'm actually... Let me do that again because... Oh, boy. I had Safari open the whole time. Don't save. And I don't even think I'd saved, so let's not worry about it. Let's go over here. Search for me. Changed. Apply. I have to save. Save the changes. Write changes. Close. And then I'm going to go here. I'm going to move to trash. And I'm going to put this in here. Then I'm going to launch Safari. Interesting. So the profile name has changed. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this, gang? Search for me changed window. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's do that experiment again. Let's open this with DB Browser for SQLite. We're going to go to browse data, bookmarks, search for me changed. We're going to find user 2. User 2 changed. We're going to write changes, close. We're going to overwrite Safari tabs. We're going to do that there. Let's launch Safari. User 2 changed, and the bookmarks. What? Did I? User 3. That's interesting. So the profile switcher seems to have understood that I've changed the name, but the actual bookmarks folders are unchanged. But I think, okay, this is pretty wild. I think I've figured it out. Like, the mapping is in the Safari tabs DB SQLite inside of the containerized folder. Data folder. This seems to be true because if I rename the folder in the bookmarks, let's close that. I'll put this back. It was the bookmarks folder, bookmarks table, and the bookmarks table. Then this change is reflected in the profile switcher in the toolbar. Interestingly, this does not change the name of the folder, the bookmarks folder, the actual bookmarks folder. This is probably something stored within bookmarks.plist. Let's find out. Is it in? Did I already try evaluating that? Is it in bookmarks.plist? Safari bookmarks.plist last touched today at 1:46. That's possible. I'll put it in here for now. Bookmarks.plist, and if I look for the term, where am I? Where did I just paste this to? Search for me, Safari. I'm gonna move this out. I'll put it in here. Grep. Search for me. Bookmarks.plist. No. So somewhere else, I think there is a mapping to the there's a mapping to the bookmarks folders. Is there another one in here that's like user 1, user 2? Bookmarks. Okay, still a mystery. We got to figure that one out, but we've gotten somewhere. Okay, here's what we figured out. Nope, it's not. Okay, what we figured out today. 1, we figured out the basic workings of Safari's profile system as a user. We figured out that Safari has slowly but surely been turning into a more containerized application. It's halfway there. Some of the user profile data is stored within here, and some of it is within library, containers, column, Apple, Safari, library. What was it? Library, Safari. We believe that the index, or the primary index of user profile. Oh, before I forget, let me try one more thing, which is to look at when we go to manage profiles. Yeah, search for me change. It's reflected in here. It's reflected in here. Primary index of user profiles is strangely within the Safari tabs.db SQLite database inside of the bookmarks table. This is borne out by some manual tweaking and noticing the changes manifest inside of the UI toolbar as well as Profile Manager UI. This maps the name, the user given name of a profile to a UUID. These, I believe, they also have a particular type. User, like, look at these 2 rows here. One thing they share in common is a subtype of 2. These seem to share a subtype of 2 in that table. The created bookmarks folders, folder names do not get updated when the synced Safari tabs DB database is updated. This requires more research. Okay, so very interesting. I think we figured it out, or for the most part. We just need to figure out the bookmarks. Yeah, user 2 had default bookmarks. Is the same if you change the profile name from Safari. Right, are you, SmurfD, are you running the test yourself? Like, are you also, if you change the profile name, it gets reflected inside of Safari tabs.db? Is that what you're figuring out? SmurfD tested and says that changing the profile name in Safari also updates the, no, if you change, oh, okay, well, we can verify that, the profile name. So, like, let's change this from Safari search for me changed. We're going to change this to unchanged. And we're going to exit this. I figure this will be a pretty safe bet. Back into containers. Column, Apple, Safari. Data, library. Safari tabs. I figure this we should see unchanged now. Yeah, unchanged. Yeah. Updating the profile name from the management UI also updates that row in the table in the Safari tabs.bb bookmarks table. Okay, so we just need to figure out the bookmarks folder, and then we've got a kind of a high-level overview of how it all works, or at least how we could potentially retrieve this information. Like the ultimate goal, I think, would be then to list those individual profile names inside of the dropdown in Firefox's browser import mechanism, and then let the user choose which resources mapped to that profile to import. In this case, I think it would just be like history and bookmarks. I don't think logins are separated. We don't import cookies. What was the last thing that it says that it separates out? History, cookies, website data. Now, we don't import that as well. So it'd really just be history, and then maybe we could automatically select the bookmarks folder as well that it's mapped to. Like, that'd be pretty convenient. All right, I'll talk to our UX people about that and our product people. But we've got a bit of a plan. So we did it, everyone. Hey, I hope that was interesting. I hope that wasn't writing a whole lot of code. That was more investigation. But this, if you've never seen me do this before, this is exactly what we've been doing to figure out stuff when we're writing the migration stuff for anything closed source. Like Edge is closed source. Chrome is open source, so we can look at the source code and see how it stores things. And Edge is based on Chrome, so that helps. But the DuckDuckGo browser, for example, or Arc, or Vivaldi, these are closed source and sufficiently different from Chrome that we had to, I think, do a little bit of digging like this to figure out how they work internally. I think Safari is the strangest of all of them, personally. So this has been very interesting. And I hope you found it interesting. Hey, thanks again for watching episode 350 of The Joy of Coding. That's it. That's the ball game. That's all of the Joy of Coding for the year of 2023. The next episode is scheduled for January 10th. So I hope to see you there. Have yourselves a great... If you're taking a break, if you're taking a holiday, have a great holiday. If you're traveling, if you're seeing friends or family, I hope you have a great time. I hope everyone's well. I hope you stay safe and you're healthy and all that good stuff. And I will see you. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2024. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Happy New Year's. See you next year.
The joy of coding.
See ya.